Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here, live from Gippsland. I'm George, I'm your host for today. Welcome to another edition to Sydney Melbourne Touring. Well, let's get Mr. Sydney Melbourne Touring right here, Paul Cooper.
Hey!
How are we, Paul?
On such a stunning, beautiful Gippsland day, how could I be anything but sensational, George?
It is, but before you go, because it's such a lovely sunny day, I have to put my sunglasses on. There we go. Paul, remind our viewers of Sydney Melbourne Touring road trips.
I'd love to do that, but just before I do, George, just a very quick apology. We are 5 minutes late, but there was one little button I forgot to push, so sorry to keep people waiting if you've been wondering why we didn't go exactly on time, but we're here now.
We certainly are.
So Sydney Melbourne Touring, well, they are sensational road trips between the capitals, and George, I really have to pinch myself when I come to places like here in Gippsland at Jetty Road Retreat, especially when the weather gods are on our side today. It is just gorgeous. So looking at the map here, you can see between Sydney and Melbourne, we have two key touring routes. One is the Sydney-Melbourne Heritage Drive, or the Inland Drive, that goes down through Canberra, Albury, Yarrawonga, Echuca and Bendigo. And then we have our beautiful Coastal Drive. And if you're looking at that blue line on your map now, George, you can see about the middle there is Bairnsdale, and then next to that is Lakes Entrance. Well, if you drew a line down the middle of that, halfway down and come straight to the coast, that's where we are today at the beautiful Jetty Road Retreat. And look at the view behind us. I mean,
it's literally, I died and went to heaven. My goodness.
Words fail me, seriously.
Never knew about this place, but we certainly have to know about it. You have to know about it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Now, you've got some great accommodations in Gippsland, apart from this amazing place.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I'd love to, George. Now, Gippsland is such a big place, and we're only in a little patch of it today. But a couple of places that I'd like to highlight just in the wider Gippsland, not forgetting we're at Wilson's Prom next week. One of them is Walhalla. Now, Walhalla is this gorgeous little town. It had around 5,000 people in its heyday when it was an old gold mining town. And now its population, look, it's arguable, anywhere between 12 and 20 people. So it's a pretty amazing place. And what we're looking at now is the Star Hotel. It's great accommodation in Walhalla. Michael and Russell run the place here. And Michael Leaney, he would be Mr. Walhalla. He's like a walking, talking encyclopedia on the town. And you can see there the way it's just nestled. They say Walhalla, it means Valley of the Gods. And looking at that image there of the township, it's no surprise why.
He's like a jack of all trades, Michael. You can either see him at the pub, you'll see him down the road. He's a fireman as well, so who knows?
Absolutely, yeah,
Yes.
he certainly is a jack of all trades. So Walhalla's only a couple of hours out of Melbourne, but then right on the other side of Gippsland, just before you cross the border into New South Wales, is another sensational accommodation property, and it's called Gypsy Point Lakeside. Now, at the moment, we're looking at looking at the beautiful Malakuta Lakes. There we are, back again. That's the Malakuta Inlet, I should say, George. And that little property you can see down there, that's Gypsy Point. So that's where you're actually located. It's another one of the many paradise locations we have along the Sydney-Melbourne Coastal Drive. And you can see there the beautiful cottages and the outlook. You wake up in the morning and all the kangaroos are all over the place. And the cottages are fully self-contained. So they've got the washers and the dryers and all of that sort of stuff. And Gypsy Point is about the halfway mark, George, between Sydney and Melbourne on the Sydney-Melbourne Coastal Drive.
Fantastic. Look at those kangaroos. They're great. So today we will focus on this small patch here.
That's right, because we always say when we're in market and we're training, sometimes we've got 10 or 15 minutes, and we're talking about 2,500 kilometres of road. And for our friends in the USA, what's that, George? That's probably around about 800, 900 mile, I suppose.
Absolutely. And not forgetting USA, there's also Canada. Welcome to our friends in USA and Canada.
Yeah, well, our Canadian friends say they're happy with kilometres, but North Americans, the USA normally say we like it in miles, so around about that mark. So what we're doing today is we're just going to focus on this beautiful part of East Gippsland. So today we're looking at Bairnsdale, Raymond Island, here at Nungurna at Jetty Road Retreat, and of course the beautiful Lakes Entrance, George.
Fantastic. And also, before I ask you the next question, we also have live chat here. So when you go to your screens or on your phones, if you want to ask us questions live, we can do it for you. So great. So we will catch up with you during the rest of the show, Paul, but thank you for this. But I just can't get over this view. I just can't.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Jetty Road Retreat that we're at, just so you can write this down. So thank you very much, Paul. Give
Absolute
it a
pleasure.
round of applause to Paul. Yes. And because we're here in the beautiful region of Gippsland, and we're going to bring Mrs. Gippsland here, yes, from Destination Gippsland, ladies and gentlemen, Alison Conroy.
Hi,
welcome.
everyone. Hi, George. Thank you.
And so, Alison, how do you get to Gippsland?
Well, to get to this particular part of Gippsland, bearing in mind we're at the prom next week, so I'll leave the southern entrance out of it. Coming through the middle of Gippsland, and gee, that's a busy map there, but you can see those big heavy lines through the middle. As Paul's already mentioned, you take that road up to Walhalla because it's a must-do on the Sydney Melbourne Touring route, and then continue on east. And I love to get off that main highway just around the Sale region and take in some of those beautiful little villages and winery trails just out the back there with the high country in the backdrop. It's really magnificent before you arrive at obviously the lakes region here in the east.
Yeah, so what makes the lake region so special?
Oh, so much. Obviously, the water is the key attraction, George. We have 3 villages that hug the lakes region. There's Meetung, Lakes Entrance and Paynesville. We're very close to Meetung here today. You can see the silt jetties on the screen right now. So it's a really stunning part of the world to just get out and enjoy the water. Now, it's the largest inland lake water system in Australia. So that means that if you're a little bit gun-shy about getting out on the water, but you'd really like to try your hand at kayaking or sailing or stand-up paddleboarding, you can do that here because the waters are really sheltered and there's plenty of space for everyone. So if you want to learn to sail a boat, obviously, we want to go fishing. All of that is available to you. But if you've never done it before, that's no issue at all. There's no need for a boat licence when you're here. You can just get out there and enjoy the water.
And yeah, not only can you enjoy the water, but I'll talk a little bit later on. You got to see the night sky here at Gippsland. Now,
very good point.
What else is there off? What else is there to do off the water?
There's plenty of things to do off the water here as well. We work with a couple of tour operators that take people on bike tours. So Snowy River Cycles and Venture Out, who also do stand-up paddleboarding and kayaking, I might mention. But both of them will take people out on a bike to enjoy the region. You can see the Buchan Caves on the screen right now, and that's
very famous.
400 million year old cave system, which is a really easy drive from here. And Buchan is a beautiful little village just outside of the lakes region, and plenty to see and do up there. But of course, taking the cave tour is an absolute must, and it's very popular with our international friends. Of course, Raymond Island, and I won't go into that in too much detail because Paul's going to talk a little bit more about Raymond Island today. Further north at Crow-Jigalong, you've got the sand dunes there, the Thurrock sand dunes, the Point Hicks Lighthouse. There's so much to see and do in this part of the world. And our 90-mile beach, of course, is actually 94 kilometres long, 94 miles long.
Oh, look, you can't get better than that. Look at this.
Absolutely. It's just a stunning place, and you can just really enjoy it on your own. There's not those crowds and hordes of people that you get in or near city beaches at all. So it's really a great place to get out there and appreciate Australia's coastal landscapes.
Looks like you can walk for miles and there's no one around. I mean, that's what Australia's all about. That's what. Yeah,
exactly it. And of course, there's a beautiful aerial shot of the lakes there for you just to appreciate the vastness of that lake system. It's bigger than Sydney Harbour.
And the natural beauty of this place and the wildlife is amazing. But I hear there are also great places to eat and drink.
There's plenty of great places to enjoy our food. Obviously, seafood is a must in this part of the world. So we have a number of really great spots to enjoy the seafood. Sardine Restaurant is one of them. That's a hatted restaurant now. So we're very pleased with that we can offer guests. And that's actually located in Paynesville, which is where you take the ferry across to Raymond Island. We've got this, there's a picture of Sardine now. So you can see this beautiful contemporary restaurant offering lots of food from the ocean, of course, but all local produce. They really focus on the local feast and local wines as well. So it's a really great place to just have a really lovely lunch before you go and check out the koalas on Raymond Island. The Long Paddock is amazing, and it recently got a write-up in the New York Times, so I'd encourage everyone to go and check that out. It's about good, wholesome country food, but again, from award-winning chefs that really, really know how to cook, and people just drive out from Melbourne just to go to the Long Paddock. Of course, you can... seafood is a must, and buying your seafood fresh off the boats is a really awesome experience to do while you're out here. And you can go to the local fish market, of course, as well to buy all your seafood and take it home and cook it up nice and fresh. We even put it on pizza out here in East Gippsland. So we've got a great place called Earth and Soul Pizza, and you can enjoy what's on offer there too.
It looks very yummy.
It is.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, wow.
So our wineries are also great, and we produce a beautiful cool climate Pinot Noir in Gippsland, and that's Lightfoot and Sons, which is one of the key cellar door experiences here. You can see it's just got these amazing sweeping views across the valley of the beautiful East Gippsland area, and it's a great place to try Pinot Noir. I think she's having a Chardonnay, and there's things to do like Picnic Point Farm, where you can go and buy absolutely fresh produce straight from the farm gate, and they're well known for their apples, and bring it home and cook yourself up a feast out of local produce.
Oh wow, I'm hungry already, and I hear our host is going to make us a pizza tonight.
Yay!
So we're very excited about that. There's nice accommodations here at Gippsland Lakes apart from Jetty Road. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. So I won't mention Jetty Road and Waverley House Cottages because Paul's going to go into them in great detail. But we have, so I mentioned the 3 villages. Meetung has a couple of accommodation options. 5 Knots, which is a really sort of top-end accommodation provider with 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments there right on the water. It's got water on almost all sides of the establishment, so it's a really great place to stay. That's McMillan's. That's also at Meetung, and McMillan's is really great if you've got families. You can see the kids' playground there. It's got tennis courts, big play area, and again 1, 2 and 3 bedroom accommodations. That is the Bellevue at Lakes Entrance. So just going around to the other side there, the other village there, Lakes Entrance, right on the Esplanade, and again, lots of accommodation. And the Esplanade hotel there it's more of a resort actually. This one, it's got an indoor and an outdoor pool. It has a spa, a day spa, so you can really get quite indulgent while you're staying at some of these accommodations throughout the region.
Thanks, Alison. It's so important that your guests have great accommodation, and
yes.
And Paul has picked out a few nearby. Over to you, Paul. It is live TV.
One of the great things about the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive is there is no shortage of accommodation, and we've got some pretty magnificent properties.
Well, it looks good here, this place, yeah.
This is the Riverslea in Bairnsdale, and I've got Rachel from the Riverslea at the moment. So Rachel, how long have you been at the Riverslea?
Gosh, it's nearly 5.5 years now. We've moved from Meetung to Bairnsdale, about 5.5 years ago. We brought the family in with schooling and have this wonderful business now.
And tell me about the property.
So it was originally a manor house and terrace housing, and it was converted into a hotel about 1985. So a big full refurbishment was done then, and then we actually did another refurb about 3.5 years ago, so we've brought it back to life again. So the building itself is 135 years old this year.
Wow, and how many rooms do you have?
We have 22. So all en-suited rooms, and we've kept as much of the heritage furniture as we had here, but we've also brought in a bit of a modern feel as well.
One of the things that I think is also really special about the Riverslea is the catering. I mean, coming here for things like high tea and the meals and so forth. How much is the food and wine component of the property a part of the business?
Yeah, it is a big part, and we use as much local produce as possible as well. So we have a continental breakfast, which is included in all of our stays. So beautiful homemade muesli and poached fruit, and so everything we can do ourselves or buy in locally we have. Beautiful wines from the local wineries, Wyanga and Nicholson and Lightfoot's Winery. And we also have an all-day grazing menu, so people can come in at whatever time they like and have a lovely cheese and antipasto platter or a ploughman's platter with their wine or local beer, and yeah, it works really well.
So many fantastic wineries, and Rachel just mentioned Lightfoot. That's Lightfoot and Sons, and last night I had a bottle of their 2016 Pinot. It's one of the best Pinots I've had anywhere. It is an awesome wine.
It's certainly our most popular.
We were talking before we started rolling the camera on the international visitors, and you were saying some mornings you come down at breakfast and it's like pick the accent. Where are your international visitors coming from?
Look, primarily Germany and England would be the top two, but we are seeing emerging from Canada, America, look, really all over now. Norway, you know, we have great chats with people, you know, to see where they've come from and, you know, the rest of their trip around Australia. So, yeah, we love our international guests. It's a big part of the Riverslea.
Okay, well, let's talk about locations. So you're located in Bairnsdale, which is not too far from Lakes Entrance and not that far from Wilson's Promontory National Park. But say within half an hour of the Riverslea, what sorts of things can your clients do?
Yeah, probably the most popular is to go to the lakes. So we've got Lakes Entrance is just over 30-minute drive. So we always recommend that the customers get out onto the water to really get a feel of what the Gippsland Lakes and East Gippsland is about. So there's some great cruises, or you can hire a boat themselves, or paddleboarding, kayaking. There's lots of things to do on the water, and the dolphins are also a big draw card out there. Paynesville's only less than 15-minute drive, so driving to Paynesville, you can catch the ferry over to Raymond Island, which is a great day out to spot the koalas, and just a lovely little island. And then a little bit longer is the Buchan Caves, but that's probably a 45-minute drive from Bairnsdale, and that's a lovely day trip as well. Great for, doesn't matter what the weather's like, because it's a constant 22 degrees in the caves. So yeah, lots to see. Bairnsdale is just a really great base to go out and see all the wonderful things that the region has to offer.
Fantastic. So that's the Riverslea, one of the great accommodation properties on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive. Thanks, Rachel.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Wow, thanks, Paul. So that was Riverslea. What a lovely accommodation it is. And as you know, I am staying here at Jetty Road, and I absolutely love it. I came here last night, and I'm not kidding, guys. I have not seen so many stars in my life in the sky. So if you're into astronomy, if you're into the stars, my goodness, you've died and went to heaven here. Kim and Steve are the proud owners of this wonderful property, Jetty Road Retreat. Don't forget, it's on the Sydney Melbourne Touring route off the Princess Highway. Very easy drive for our self-drivers. So welcome, Kim. How are we?
Hi, George. I'm great. Thanks so much.
Nagurna is a hidden gem of Gippsland region. Where exactly are you located on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive?
That's a great question. So we are 3.5 hours east of Melbourne for guests sort of starting their journey in Melbourne. And we're perfectly situated between Lakes Entrance and Meetung, which are the places that most people will know well. And we're just 5 minutes off the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive. So it's not a difficult journey to get to us. And then once guests arrive, they've got this amazing view of the lake from any of the 4-bedroom self-contained, 2-bedroom self-contained cabins that we have here.
Well, it feels like 4 bedrooms. They're so spacious.
There's 4 of them.
Yes. Yeah. And what do your international visitors enjoy most about your property?
Look, the stars of the show are the amazing view that's on offer here and the prolific native bird life. So they've all gone up to the tree canopies at the moment, but here's an aerial shot, and you can see we're right on the water, surrounded by nature. So this beautiful expanse of water in front of you, and you're high up in the treetops with the birds all around you.
It's a beautiful place, yeah.
Comfortable sort of standard accommodation, fully self-contained, so people can buy that lovely fresh caught seafood from Lakes Entrance, come back and cook it here at the cabin, and then just, as you said, enjoy an unpolluted night sky. We have fire pits. They can sit outside and just enjoy being amongst nature. There's a view from the deck, and every view is spectacular, as what you see on the screen there. It
certainly is, as you can see, yeah. So, how do you ensure each guest has a great time during their visit?
We are owner-operators, so we're a small family-owned business, and we can really offer that personalised service. So I try and meet with each and every guest. I roll down the hill after I drop my kids at a little school up the road, and I really try and understand what people are here to enjoy, what they already know about the region, and really just try and make sure that they don't miss any of the amazing attractions, the best coffee, whatever they're interested in seeking and discovering, that they can find that easily and in the time that they have available.
There's the Rosellas. Yep, I got woken up this morning by them. and the kookaburras, and that's the beauty about this place. The sounds. It's so peaceful, and you're just hearing the birds, and it's wonderful.
There's typically about a dozen different species of birds that we'll visit, and we've got bird feeders provided, so I can't kind of underestimate how special the bird life experience is for our guests. And I know a lot of North American guests really take that as an unforgettable part of their stay, the birds and the opportunity to have those close encounters with the birds. But in the warmer months, we've also got complimentary kayaks that guests can take out on the lake.
Oh, that's great.
We've got complimentary laundry facilities, so they can really kind of break their journey up and just enjoy being in this beautiful kind of nature-based location away from the holiday crowds. You feel like you're a million miles away. You're literally 10 minutes down the road, but you've got this beautiful environment to enjoy. You can meet the locals on the jetty and really get a sense of what that laid-back Aussie lifestyle is all about.
And definitely stay more than one night, guys. This is definitely a 3 or 4 night stay, if I recommend it to anyone. Thanks, Kim. Gippsland has so much to offer, and this place is Jetty Road. They are international ready, ladies and gentlemen, so you can book it through all your wholesalers, your inbounds. It's an amazing place, and I tell you what, I can't wait to stay another night here. So it's really great, and thanks to you and your husband Steve, who have accommodated us. And well, thanks for another live stream. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be heading over to Wilson's Promontory National Park. Oh, we're not finished. Oh, okay. Oh, well, there we go. So we'll stay tuned. Let's cross back to, you know what? This is what's the beauty about live TV. When you read a prompter and you're not knowing what's going on. I love it. But anyway, thank you very much, Kim. So let's give a round of applause to Kim from Jetty Road.
Thanks, George.
Yep. As you know, next week we'll go to Wilson's Prom. But before we do, let's bring back Paul Cooper from Sydney Melbourne Touring. Come on, Paul.
So all along the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive, there's some awesome wildlife viewing experiences, and none better than here at Raymond Island. Now, it's very easy to get over to Raymond Island because it's a ferry, and the crossing distance is very short. In fact, it only takes 2 minutes to get across. Now, this is the ferry, and it operates 7 days a week. There is a charge to drive over, but for foot passengers and cyclists, it's completely free. So what we recommend is to park your car on the Paynesville side and then get on the ferry as a foot passenger and come across to Raymond Island. Now remember, once you get to Raymond Island, people actually live here. So respect that and keep things nice and quiet as you walk around and view the koalas. Once you arrive on the Raymond Island side of the ferry, you see this koala information board, and they've got some guide maps here as well, and they're only $2. And all the proceeds go to support the well-being of the koalas, so make sure you donate. All right, let's go and check out the koalas on Raymond Island. So as you make your way around Raymond Island, it's very well signposted. So it's really easy to find the koalas by following the signs, just like this one. So from the ferry terminal to this part where you've got all of these beautiful trees all over the place is about 5 minutes walk, maybe 10 if you're really slow. And on the way here, we'd already counted 4 koalas. And since arriving, there's one in the tree up here, there's another one over there, and they can be anywhere between the very top of the tree or down somewhere relatively close. Like this one we saw on the way was actually crossing the road and in a bit of a hurry to get up the next tree as well. Another great thing about this part of Raymond Island is the echidnas. If you're really lucky, you just might spot one. Well, our koala viewing experience here at Raymond Island is almost done. We've been here for about half an hour, and so far we've counted 9 koalas today. This is the 9th one up here, just having a little feed. So if you want to see koalas in their natural habitat, no fences, no cages, just natural koalas exactly where they live, check out Raymond Island on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive in beautiful Gippsland, Victoria.
That's great, Paul. Raymond Island looks awesome, but you've been very busy today. I believe you've been to another accommodation.
Yes, I have. Yes, I've been going all over the place. But while we're talking about wildlife,
no,
check
look at
this out.
Hello.
Aren't they
Whoa,
awesome?
whoa. Look at that.
Oh, they're beautiful birds, the rosellas and the king parrots and so forth. Hello there, buddy. I'll frighten him away now.
That's fantastic.
They are just gorgeous, and every cabin has a little book that identifies the bird. So
does.
if you're an international guest and you're staying at Jetty Road Retreat, you can actually get a little book out and go, oh yeah, that's a king parrot.
Hello.
Oh, that's a
Hello.
lorikeet.
Oh.
Yeah, they eat from your hands as well.
They do.
So the wildlife is absolutely sensational.
Almost on my head before.
But you're right, George. I have been out and about with a camera, getting lots more information about this beautiful part of Gippsland. And earlier yesterday, I was at Waverley House Cottages. Continuing to check out some of the fantastic accommodation that we have on the Sydney Melbourne Coastal Drive. And I've got Jan with me from Waverley House Cottages. And
Yes,
Jan,
she is.
we were trying to work out how long you've been a part of Sydney Melbourne Touring. It must be eons.
Yes, I think I must just about be one of the originals now. I think from about 2007, if I
Awesome.
was having a quick guess.
So the property is called Waverley House Cottages. Tell us about the cottages. How many do you have and what styles they have?
Right, well, we've got 6 cottages and there are 3 different types. The one we're sitting in now is a 2-bedroom cottage. There are also 1-bedroom cottages and there's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom cottage. So
And fully self-contained?
fully self-contained. So we're self-catering cottages. That sometimes is something I like to, reassure international guests with, because they'll sometimes come from a hotel in Melbourne and think they're getting daily service, or they'll ask me where the restaurant is. So we put in breakfast packs for guests who would request them. But otherwise, the things that excite them the most when they come in here are the lovely, spacious, homely feeling cottages, but also there's a full kitchen and a full laundry, which, believe it or not, sometimes excites more than any discussions I might have about the beautiful 90 Mile Beach, or as soon as they see a washing machine, their eyes light up.
Yeah, the laundries are actually fantastic. Let me show you the laundry. Now, having a look at this, it just looks like a cupboard, doesn't it? But as we open up these 2 doors here, voila, we have a full laundry, the washing machine, the dryer, the ironing board, it's all there. So it certainly is fully self-contained. And of course, if people don't want to self-cater, there's plenty of dining options like 5 minutes away.
Yes, lovely cafes. One lucky thing being in a tourism area is that in Lakes Entrance, the restaurants don't all close for most of the days of the week. In the quieter times, there are lots of cafes and there are a number of restaurants that stay open each night. They will look to close a bit earlier sometimes, but I can always rest assured that guests arriving even reasonably late can get a nice, hopefully, seafood meal if that's their desire.
Yeah, lovely.
In our area.
Beautiful. Now,
Yes.
now Waverley House Cottages, you built them from scratch.
We did. My husband's a builder and I'm a retired art teacher, so they are the inevitable collaboration between an art teacher and a builder. Fair bit of attention to detail. We are very proud of them, but we're also in a lovely setting. We bought the property purely because it had established trees on it, and so we've been able to nestle the cottages in amongst lovely gums and continue to add to the plantings around the cottages as well.
Sounds lovely. Where do your international guests come from?
Well, it's mainly UK, Europe. That's obviously has been our target and our busiest market. Breaking it down from there, it has really changed over the years, whereas once it was UK and then a smattering. Now I think it's 50-50. Probably it would be a bit of a competition between UK, Belgium, Germany and the Netherlands. Yeah.
Just having a look and flicking through the guest book here, how does it feel when you're coming in to do a makeover on a room and you're reading some of these comments from your international guests?
Oh, it's just lovely, because they often, domestic guests don't always put a comment in the guest book. You know, they may be repeat guests, or they're down for a holiday and they're not perhaps feeling as precious about the area as someone who's travelling from overseas. And they're lovely guest comments, and often we'll pick up on things that we take for granted, like particular trees or shrubs that are around the cottages, or of course the birds. Yes.
And Waverley House Cottages isn't just about the cottages. On the property, you've got swimming pools, barbecue sites, jacuzzis. Tell us about what else you can do on site.
Yes, so I think this is something that's lovely for someone that's travelling and has been driving for a while, as well as the cottages themselves, each having a spa bath or a two-person spa in them. There's the swimming pool with a covered barbecue area, so you can go and cook something out there and maybe mingle with other guests if you'd like to. Or there's the hot tub, which is over in the other section of the cottages, and that's kept at a nice 34 degrees. And so if you've taken the opportunity to do some walking around the area, or to hire a bike, or to do something a bit more energetic, there is the bonus of being able to soak those aching bones, even if you've just been sitting in a car for a while. So they used a lot and most appreciated. So
beautiful destination. Yes. So George, as you can see, it's almost 10 years since I started with Sydney Melbourne Touring, and working with people like Jan, I just don't want to look at any other job. I just love this this drive along the coast. It really is a magnificent place. Jan, thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
And back to you, George.
Well, Paul, you said it. It is a magnificent place. What a great intro that was. And well, back to Paul on the hot seat.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely, George. I really do have to pinch myself every day. I mean, as I said in the video, in May, it's 10 years since I started with Sydney Melbourne Touring. And to me, it's like I started yesterday. Every time I set out on this drive, it's another new adventure. I never tire from it.
I must admit, I'm kind of new to this area. You know, working from the other side of Victoria, and yeah, I'm blown away. And as the Tom Cruise movie said, it had me at hello. Yeah, so, well, we're going to have to wrap up here.
We are going to have to wrap up.
Yeah. It's been quite spectacular. The weather's been really, really nice, and the weather's like this a majority of the year. So it's not like, you know, we're lucky
gorgeous.
Today.
Yeah,
you can see the birds, lovely. It's so peaceful here and so tranquil. And
to be really Aussie, I think I might be getting the togs on a bit later and getting in the water, because it just looks so inviting down there.
And it's also very Australian. So it's the southeast part of Australia here in Victoria, the Gippsland region, and yeah, it's won me.
So, George, you can tell us where we are next week for our final of this series of live streams.
Yes, next week is also an amazing place, and I've been here a few times. It's Wilson's Promontory National Park. Look at that. Yeah, we'll visit lots of places like, you know, Mount Oberon, Mount Bishop, and the beautiful accommodations at Tidal River. So get ready for that one.
So it's going to be exactly the same time next week, and hopefully next week we will be on time. But George, thanks so much once again for being our host of the most.
Thanks for our host, Stephen Kim, here at Jetty Road Retreat. And I hope you enjoy. From all you guys in North America, when you think of Australia, think of Gippsland.
Hey, love you long time.
See you soon.